Best footballer in the team. Looking back, we had some real good players in that squad, the 2000s, especially my first year. And obviously we got promoted, but obviously we know what happened, and unfortunately we never were able to win the league. But looking back, there were some real good players in the team. Up front we had Luke Beckett scoring loads of goals, Ryan Williams creating things. At the back, obviously, Big Polly in goal saved us obviously some games, and won us some games with his terrific goalkeeping. But I'm probably going to go for Marcus Epton, another Welshman, but just for his all-round ability, composure on the ball, and obviously his drag backs and Cruyff turns. Ian Breckin must feel unlucky, because obviously Ian was a real good player and went on to have a fantastic career, but I'm just going to go for Marcus Epton. Biggest joker in the team, obviously that year we had a few, I must admit, on and off the pitch. I think it showed on just the fun we had, really, and the success we had, obviously on the pitch. But there was a few. Big Polly was involved, Chrissy Beaumont, Jamie Hewitt, John Howard even got involved, Chris Perkins. There was loads, but one standout for me has got to be David Reeves. Typical Scouser, into everything, and was in the middle of everything that was going on in the dressing room. Most likely to win a wrestling lumble, obviously easy for me to say. Again, we had a few lads out who could look after themselves. Obviously Big Polly in goal could look after himself. Centre halves, Blatherwick, Ian Breckin, Steve Tuttle. Midfielders weren't really that rough and tough, I must admit. Up front we had Luke Beckett, who could obviously hold the ball up, put himself about. But really the midfield generals weren't really that tough, so I'm going to have to give it to Steve Tuttle. He had the face for sort of a wrestling match, and when he took his teeth out, he was very imposing. Best dancer, there was a few obviously on a night out, after a few sherbets and a few shandies. I think most of us thought we could chuck a few shapes out, but I think I'm going to have to give it to Roger Willis. Plenty of rhythm, loads of moves. Danny Williams would probably push him close second, but yeah, it's got to be Roger Willis for me. Changing room DJ. Again, there's a few thought they could obviously take a few tunes off. But again, it's going to have to go down to Roger Willis as well. Obviously with his dance moves, he put the tunes on, and they go hand in hand. So I'm obviously my DJ, dressing room DJ, was Roger Willis. Worst taste in music. Now there's a few of us there, probably me included. A bit of Tom Jones. But for obviously going back at that time, 2000, which was 20 years ago, we had a young player called Jamie Ingledow, and he used to come from Barnsley, and he was only probably about 17, 18, 19 at the time, and he was into his Neil Diamond. There's nothing wrong with Neil Diamond, but at the time, 20 years ago, when he was sort of 18, 19, it's probably got to be Jamie Ingledow. In need of the fashion police, just mentioned him, Jamie Ingledow. Looked like he'd sort of like just been woke up out of a hedge, got dressed in the dark. He'd come in with some nasty gear, and obviously he's going to have to win the top prize for me. Worst dressed, definitely Jamie Ingledow. Who was the fastest? Again, we had a few whippets in the team. There was some who could move, don't get me wrong, but I think for all right sheer pace down the wing, he had them little legs. He was only 4'2", but Ryan Williams, he could shift. No one could catch him. I think he was too quick for us sometimes. You'd have to slow down when he was going down the wing. So Luke Beckett gives a little bit of time for Luke Beckett to get in the box and get on the end of his cross. So yes, Ryan Williams definitely the fastest. Who was the messiest? Again, mentioned him before now. Jamie Ingledow was just a total nightmare, total mess. Obviously my car at times weren't great at the back with a few cans and a few packet of crisps, but his car was just a nightmare. He literally just looked like he slept in it. He had clothes, he had, I don't know what was there. I think it could have been something living in the back of his car, in the boot of his car. So again, definitely the messiest, Jamie Ingledow. But Lee Richardson, I must admit, pushed him a close second. Teacher's pet. There was a few there, obviously a few living legends at Chesterfield at the time. John Howard, Jamie Hewitt, obviously Chrissy Beaumont. So they were probably the old school who would probably be the top of the class. So I must admit, I'd go for the three amigos probably. Obviously equal first. Chrissy Beaumont, John Howard, and Jamie Hewitt. First to arrive. Again, living local. I think there was a few lads who lived local. I must admit I travelled in, so I wasn't there on early anyway. I used to meet up with Steve Tuttle. But I think obviously just being living local and arriving first had to be Jamie Hewitt. And I think he had to get in about 5 o'clock in the morning anyway, because when we were training at 10, it gave him 5 hours to warm up and stretch, because he was about 56 at the time. Worst trainer. Again, we all had our good days and bad days, but I must admit there was one player who sort of like wasn't the greatest in the week, and would probably just do enough after training, get changed, or get in the car back up to Sheffield. So I think that would be Luke Beckett. But fair play to Luke, he'd do the business on a Saturday and scored a hatful of goals, which got us promotion that year. Last to arrive, like I say, I travelled in with Steve Tuttle from sort of Doncaster, who used to pick me up on the A1, so there was a few who did travel in from the sort of north, so I'm going to have to probably say a Stevie Payne, Rob Edwards. I can remember a couple of times when they've got a course on the M1 coming down from Huddersfield that way, that they'd be rushing in, getting changed and straight out to training, so it'd have to be someone like Stevie Payne or Rob Edwards. Favourite Chesterfield memory, there was a few that year. Obviously my hat-trick, I must admit, in front of the Cop at Chesterfield, scoring from the halfway line, or was it in my own half, or what, from the edge of the box, I can't remember, against Shrewsbury Town. But my favourite memory was the year after, my second year, I think it was away at Brighton, Tuesday night game, 2-2. We had a bit of history with Brighton down the couple of years I was there. And in my previous club as well I did, so it was always nice to score against them, which happened 2-2 on a Tuesday night, and then we all shook hands. It was obviously very friendly, but we ended up getting back to the dressing room, and it just a mass brawl, 22, probably 26, 28, 30 players with staff, subs, and the floor obviously fell through. That nearly dropped from about sort of 4 foot. It was only like sort of porter cabins or temporary dressing rooms. We always had to get back on the bus then after that game. Police told us, give us a police escort from the ground. We had to close the curtains just in case any souvenirs come through the window from the Brighton fans. But yeah, that was a nice to remember. Anyway, that's my Chesterfield teammates. Hope you're all safe and well, and hopefully catch up and see you all soon. Cheers.